Oh, and welcome to the podcast, episode 3 of The Secret Chat, where actually four very nice young men who all your mothers would approve of discuss. They always brought something for show and tell, and we're going to kind of discuss it. I'm here with myself, Philip, with Matt. Say hello.
Hello.
Amr, say hello. Let me say it again.
Hello.
Hello, and
There you go.
maybe you've heard of him, but we have a very special guest this week. Give it up for Dylan Bunn.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. All right. So, Matt, do you want to go in first?
Yeah. So, on April 28th, the Pentagon released special videos of what we would like to call them UFOs, and basically these videos show. Well, they date back to I'd say 2004, but they had also been leaked between 2007 and 2017, but weren't
They weren't
basically
confirmed.
they weren't confirmed by the Pentagon until 2 days ago. And basically, what these videos are showing is small aircrafts basically flying right above the water, and just in the fighter pilots that captured these UFOs, so-called UFOs, were in awe. They had basically no idea what they were, you know?
Yeah. So, like, so these would be leaked from like a secret. Like, people are like, okay, man, I got this photo. It's real. It's from the government. I know it's real. So they'd leak them, and then there'd be kind of conspiracies about them. And then what you're saying is, I'm just trying to catch up, but up until recently, the government kind of confirmed them.
Exactly. So
Okay.
actually, the funny part about it is the third leak was actually published by an organization co-founded by former Blink-182 singer Tom
Oh,
DeLonge.
really?
Yes. So
Well,
no
that's
one,
interesting.
everyone was like, I mean, this is a pretty good source. I mean, we have a celebrity from Blink-182 releasing UFO documents, but I mean, everyone is always like, all right, conspiracy theories,
Yeah.
UFOs. Are they real? Are they not?
That was my skepticism when I first heard about this as well.
Man, but if you look at the footage, if it is legitimate, if they really did capture this, I mean, there's nothing man-made that can do what that thing did.
Wait.
I
So
mean, it
wait.
was
What is
going
the
against the
picture?
wind.
Well, I haven't seen these pictures. Can someone
It's
explain
not
that
a
to me?
picture, it's a video,
Oh, it's a
man. It's a
video.
video of
Video.
it
It's a it's a
flying
it's a
against
video. Yeah.
120 knot winds. I mean, it's
Literally,
ridiculous.
it's literally like a small aircraft just scooting across the water, basically, and these fighter pilots are just in awe of what they're seeing, and they're like, "What the hell is this?
Some
Like,
some
is
alien
is this
came
a
down
drone?
from
Is this a
space just to
drone,
scoot
or
across the
is
water.
exactly?"
What?
Now, in a statement earlier this week, the Pentagon did release these unauthorized videos, but they are not ready to say they're UFOs. Yet they
Yeah.
are unidentified flying objects. They are not necessarily extraterrestrial.
Maybe this is why Donald Trump created the Space Force because he's in on it. He knows what's up, and he created
I
the Space
mean,
Force to fight
He's
against
talked to
these
the aliens.
these
he was he
aliens.
was he was driving it.
Donald
Yeah, he
Trump.
was in it.
I
That
mean,
was
I
his
mean, he's
personal
had
thing.
money for a long
Yeah.
time. So
He
I
wants
mean,
to
Yeah,
put
I
his
mean,
you
name
don't
on
know
it.
what he's been doing before he became president.
See, when I
I
first
do.
heard about this, I thought that maybe it was just like a really covert test of maybe something that the government's
mm,
testing out,
Of
because the
course.
military gets everything that we get like 50 years earlier.
Yeah,
yeah,
the
they get
military
the
has some
yeah.
crazy technology.
But the fact that the Pentagon's pretty confused about it, I don't know, it's starting to
But
make me think.
were
It's
they like, wait,
weird,
this came
man.
from
Like
us?
this is unprecedented. This is unprecedented. This is
Like I
basically the first time they've acknowledged something like this.
Because
yeah, like
if it was testing, someone in the Pentagon would say, "Hey, don't say we don't know what that is."
And the
yeah.
reason I read that the reason they didn't release these videos earlier and they were classified is because it was taken on, I think it was a F-15. I think that's their newest jet, and the weapons targeting systems that were used to kind of capture the UFO, because
Like
it's so fast. They were
yeah,
so much more advanced. They didn't want other people to see.
like these cameras literally like just locked on to these flying objects and literally just sat with the object no
Yeah,
matter
with
how fast
perfect
it was going. Yeah.
stabilization.
I think this is more of a reason to raid Area 51 this year.
I mean, we could try again. But I kid
We
you
need to
not, I'm
support
looking
them.
at this video right now, and it looks like a TIE fighter from Star Wars just flying in the air.
It looks ridiculously
Literally
weird.
looks like an oversized Tic Tac.
And it like stops and rotates. I mean, what can do that?
This is real? What?
Yeah, here, I'll link
Link
you
the
the video real
video
quick.
in the server.
There's like 3 links I'm looking at, but this video
Jesus, man.
looks pretty insane.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, that's
wow,
the one I saw as well.
CNN. Wow, alright.
I mean, I have BBC News if you'd like that.
No, these are real.
And I have Wired as well.
What the heck? So, I guess since you can't see the video, it's kind of like a UAV kind of looking. Wait, what is it? Can someone else
And
explain
like
it?
Looks like a damn Tic Tac, man.
I mean, I don't even know if I'd go to say it looks like a stereotypical UFO, like
Yeah, it
like
looks
a
like
circular
shitty.
thing
It's
that's just
very
moving back and forth.
yeah, it's very grainy in quality.
It really looks like something you'd see in
Yeah, it
Star
looks
Wars
like
or
something.
something.
Yeah, it really does look very spacey.
Like, dude, it literally like, you know how was it Jango Fett's ship that has those
yeah.
and it faces? It did that basically. It rotated from like horizontal level flight to vertical level flight.
Well, I'm glad
Wasn't it
I'm
just?
good.
Wasn't it like
And
sitting still in 120-mile-an-hour
Yeah,
winds?
like
And it
what can
wasn't
do
even
that?
like. It wasn't even like rocking back and forth or anything. It was just sitting there.
And like, what is it? Like, what is that? Honestly, like, what could that even be?
so I have a quote from retired U.S. Navy pilot David Fravor. He said, "As I got close to it, it rapidly accelerated to the south and disappeared in less than 2 seconds.
We're getting
This was
spied on.
this was extremely abrupt, like a ping pong ball bouncing off a wall. It would hit and go the other way."
What if it's like the Chinese?
Chinese.
Yeah,
I don't know.
and the North
This
Koreans.
our futures are about to be really
It's already getting weird with Corona.
interesting.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
literally. So they basically did not say this is not a UFO. So they're leaving it open for interpretation and basically for us to kind of.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Well, see, so the thing about UFO is everybody associates the word UFO with aliens and
Aliens.
extraterrestrial
Yeah.
life.
And it doesn't even
But
have to be.
it's just an unidentified flying object.
Yeah.
Like when we created the blackbirds back in whenever, those like
Yeah, like
citizens
Cold
saw
War.
blackbirds flying around and they called them UFOs too.
Yeah. So it could be just some
But
crazy technology.
Pentagon also didn't say they have no idea what it is because they created the
Neither
blackbird.
confirm nor deny.
I mean, when
So-
you see something in the sky rotating and spinning, that's something
weird.
unheard
It's
of.
freaky. I feel like I'd be dreaming.
Like,
I don't know.
Like this
I
is
mean-
this is real. I mean, what is there? There's no explanation for this at this moment. I mean, it could be aliens. It could be.
Oh yeah, there's
Now-
some out there. There's something.
now, to my next question, do you guys think this could be the next step in finding these sacred aliens that no one has found yet?
Or they already found us.
I mean,
I
they've
don't know
already
if I
found
want to find the aliens.
See, because if these aliens have this kind of ship, and this is
I
like
mean,
a scouting mission,
Yeah.
then this
Yeah.
is just a scouting ship.
It's about to be
These
Independence
guys are
Day.
probably like sightseeing or some shit.
Oh, they're
and
just like
like
on
our planet.
vacation.
They're on a vacation.
They're
yeah.
like, don't get too close to the humans.
Yeah,
they're,
we're
they're
like
violent.
Earth is like a zoo, and they just kind of come around and
Yeah, exactly.
They like, look at these idiots down
yeah.
here.
And it's like
They
take
have
your
no
pick
idea what
of
they're
humans
doing.
to
Yeah.
probe and have fun with them, whatever.
Yeah. And
Oh, they have nuclear bombs. Oh, we can blow up their planets.
yeah,
That's-
Yeah.
literally destroy their planet. Jeez.
Because I mean, if they are like, it is aliens and they are scouting us, then that's probably one of the smallest, most agile ships they have. Just to be
Yeah.
able to like, probably
I
only
mean,
like 2 or
imagine-
3 people in it.
Yeah.
People, I don't even know whatever the fuck they are.
I mean, imagine they're like aircraft carriers. I mean, imagine how many of those
Yeah.
they can probably dispatch at
Imagine
once.
the alien mothership coming down.
Yeah,
And it's the size
exactly.
of like New York City.
Like Jesus, man. Not to mention what they can do to us biologically.
We can have babies with them. Get some
And
crossbreeding.
there's like, but there's like no way for us to investigate this. Like,
Yeah.
'cause we know that they're not from this galaxy. At least they can't be from one of the 8 or 9 planets that we consider to be in this galaxy,
Yeah.
because we've been able to
I mean,
at least
that's
study all the planets that would
mhm.
inhabit people. There's no way they live on a ball of gas.
They probably came through
And
some
that's insane though. Like,
wormhole.
where do they come from? I mean, who are they? What do they want? What? I mean, there's so many
What
questions
could
and
they
so
possibly
few
want with
answers.
us? Like maybe just science, but like, what do we have to offer? Nothing.
Be like that movie where they talk to the aliens in a capsule.
Wait, say what? Say what?
What's it called? That movie where that lady talks to the aliens in
Arrival?
the capsule? Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, that could be fun. We can make a
Oh,
good movie about it. There are already so many movies though.
a documentary this
Oh yeah,
time.
more like a documentary.
But
I don't know.
I don't know what to think about all this.
Do you guys believe those stories of people getting abducted?
No, not really.
I think if you got abducted, you wouldn't be able to tell the story of it.
Yeah, they could give you some like amnesia medicine
I
or
don't
I
think
don't know, man.
I don't
There
think
have been
they would put them back.
you don't think they just take them and just throw them away?
Not throw them away. Probably just like run tests and try to figure out like, I don't know, because think about it. These things probably look really fucking weird, like something out of a movie. But to them, that's what we look like too.
Yeah, all, us with like our arms sticking out of our bodies, and we clap our hands together to show that we appreciate someone. When we
hmm
clap, it's like it's weird to them, all of our culture and everything.
It
So
is
we're
weird.
definitely weird to them.
It could take people and try to understand
Yeah,
how to learn from them how they should go about
They
contacting
have
them.
like a human class. You study humans,
I don't
yeah,
know,
human
their
because
class.
mannerisms.
if they've been scouting Earth, then they know things. Like they know how the world is, and
They
they
could
would
be
probably
living
know that
among us.
Yeah, I was about to
yeah,
say that. I mean, what if?
they would know that they would not be accepted
Yeah,
peacefully by everybody.
that's very true. There would be a huge like everyone like if aliens came to Earth, everyone would be talking about it. It'd be a huge deal. Do they
Because
really
think
want
about it,
that? Yeah.
if there are aliens and we have seen these videos and this is what they are, they would have already attacked us if that was what.
All right, let me ask you guys this: would you be friends with an alien dude
Hell yeah.
that was
For
chilled,
sure.
like spoke English, but like he's like a humanoid, typical gray alien, the
Kind of
big
like
eyes and the small mouth?
what's his name? Paul. Paul
Yeah,
the
Paul.
alien.
Holy
Would you be cool
shit!
with a Paul? I mean,
Dude,
that would be dope.
imagine the kind of like drugs he would bring, like alien drugs.
Oh my god! Don't even get me started.
Crazy LSD or something.
Well, I
The
mean,
shit we wouldn't even
it's
know about.
Yeah.
it seems like they can get to us very quickly, but like we'd have to do some damn
I mean,
interstellar
where
ad
are they
astra kind of shit.
technologically wise?
Mm,
You
Like,
know?
have you guys seen Ad Astra?
Yeah, I
I've not
have.
no.
seen
Is
Ad
that the one
Astra,
with
but
Brad
I've seen
Pitt?
Interstellar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I haven't seen it. I've seen Interstellar,
it's
yeah.
pretty good. A little slow.
it's a little slow, but like I thought it was cool how they literally have like a tower that can take you all the way to the moon, basically.
I had a dream
Oh
about that
yeah.
one time. Freaky.
And then like Interstellar, they had a whole daggone a lifelong trip. I mean, it takes a long time to get through
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
I mean,
Someone hire Christopher
It's just
Nolan.
huge.
But didn't they discover like 5D in that movie?
Yeah,
Like,
there's some weird dimension where like time
yeah,
wasn't. I don't
Yeah.
even
when
know.
he went through the black hole and then came out in his house or on the opposite on in the bookshelf
Can't even comprehend what was going on.
my brain exploded.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting to think that there could be other beings living among us. Like, but they'd be scared. They'd take form of a human and just
Shit.
chill with us. Like, who knows? Like, I could be an alien just duping all of you. I mean,
Seriously doubt it.
I brought this UFO topic here. Like, you never know.
Right.
Maybe
This
he's
is how
representing
this is how
the
you're
alien
gonna do
kind.
it.
he's
Yes.
letting his people know how we feel about them first.
Yeah, I'm making my debut now as an
Yeah,
alien.
Matt's doing the grassroots movement to get the word out.
I mean, how would you guys feel about a world that was similar to like
Star
Blade
Trek,
Runner
yeah, or
or
Blade
Star
Runner.
Trek or any of those
Star
sci-fi,
Wars,
Star
anything.
Wars,
Like,
whatever? I mean, that would be pretty scary, honestly.
It'd be scary, yeah,
It's an
because it could
unstable
I
world.
mean,
totally turn
I
out
mean, I'd
totally
I'd
different.
l- I'd love to go to an intergalactic bar such as the Cantina and just drink and vibe with all the
Yeah,
aliens.
maybe like yeah.
Right.
And then some guy looks at me and says, "I don't like you. My friend doesn't like you either."
As long as they let
Yeah,
me finish my final exams first, I'll be all right.
Yeah, maybe the aliens can come cure COVID-19.
maybe that's what they're doing here.
I mean, they released these videos as like a plea, like come
Yeah,
save us. Like our shitty world needs help.
for sure.
But other than that, that's all I have on my topic. I mean,
Very
it was
nice.
it was very open for discussion. I mean,
Oh
aliens.
yeah.
I hope they are real,
For
but who
there's
knows?
definitely something out there.
I don't
Whether
know if I hope they're real or not, though.
I mean,
there's got to be
yeah.
some sort of like, even if it's just like a cell, but there's got to be some sort of, not a cell, but like a tiny, maybe dumbass kind of retarded being in another
I mean,
world.
how long would it take us to travel to like Pluto if we want to go there?
A
Yeah,
while.
multiple years. Yeah,
Like years.
yeah.
So like
Yeah.
they could be in a galaxy. If this ship disappeared in 2 seconds, like it could turn a year-long journey into like a day.
If they could just give us the secrets of light travel, what is that what it's called? Light speed. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, it took.
I mean, how is what they're doing possible? I mean, they have technology that's so far beyond our grasp.
We're saying they like it's actually like.
Well, it took 10 years for the New Horizons mission to reach Pluto,
It's kind of like an avatar, right? They would have to go under, and then once they
and
after
then
like
get there.
they like wake
They'll
up
wake
once they
up.
get there. Yeah.
And Pluto's like on the edge of our galaxy.
Yeah, that's
It
a
could be
long
three
way.
galaxies over, and it would take us 30 years just to get there.
Can you use Google Maps to get to Pluto?
Yeah. Hey Siri.
The
Hey
trip
See how
will
Siri, how
long
do
it
take
I
would
get
take
10
to
to walk,
Pluto?
years.
take the bus. Yeah.
Okay, so you guys want to move on to the next topic?
It's fine
Sure.
with me.
Okay, who wants to go next?
Amr?
Amr, do you want to go?
Okay.
All right.
So my topic is about a $1 billion North Korean bank heist.
Ooh.
Took place in Bangladesh. I'm gonna give you a little bit of background here. February 7th, 2016 in Bangladesh. The director of the Bangladesh Central Bank got off the elevator on the ninth floor, headed to the back office of the accounts and budgeting department. This is like the most restricted area of the building, and this is like the national bank for Bangladesh. And
So
the
it'd be like our
printer,
U.S. Mint or something.
yeah, essentially. And the printer wasn't working for the past few days, and it was automated. It hooked up to the bank software. It was around the clock, 24/7, printing out the transactions. Due to this issue, the printer remained empty, and eventually, after a bunch of trying stuff and replacing stuff, whatever, they were able to restart the printer, and the backlog of transactions started rolling out. So eventually, it became obvious that something wasn't right. There was a lot more statements than they expected. I mean, it was way over the amount, and they found 35 payment orders that were suspicious and had ridiculously large amounts of money transferred from Bangladesh's own bank account. So they didn't know where they were going, they didn't know what happened, and the security system that international banks use is called SWIFT, and it's unbreachable. I mean, it's not possible to be hacked from the outside, right?
Okay.
And so this all started 9 months earlier when just outside Manila, a man, four
The
men opened,
Philippines.
yeah, four men opened bank accounts with just $500 inside, left and never returned. And
Okay.
Can you give me like
so
an
this
explain
this
like I'm
all
5 so far?
so essentially the printer in Bangladesh stopped working, and
Yeah.
they have 35 transactions that are suspicious as hell, and it's totaling to $1 billion. They don't know where they're going,
Jesus.
and they're all to like these private entities that are like kind of unknown. They're not to other country. They're all over the globe, but they're in like private businesses, so it's weird.
Okay.
So anyways, so an employee at that bank where they opened the 4 bank accounts in the Philippines was checking his email and opened a malicious email, and it downloaded a program and hacked the central bank's computer systems. This allows the intruders to enter the network and gain access to the inner workings of the Bangladesh bank.
Can I stop you right there for a second?
Yeah.
We actually have a viewer question. Um, Get Hazy, we're live on Twitch right now, but Get Hazy asked, uh, this is actually very, I'm actually curious about this too, but do you guys think Lady Gaga has a penis? He just wanted to bring it up. We can maybe talk about it for like a minute. What do you guys think?
Lady Gaga's beautiful.
Lady Gaga, I do not think she has a penis.
She might, I don't know.
In her most recent film with Bradley Cooper, it was actually an all right movie.
I
I
thought it was a
don't.
great movie.
Yeah. I She looked very good in the film,
Yeah,
and
did you see a bulge or anything? I didn't see anything.
I didn't see anything either. I mean,
Maybe just an enlarged clitoris.
Yeah.
Like really enlarged.
I mean,
I mean,
I don't.
Jesus.
I don't think a person of her character would be
Yeah.
having have something strapped below the
Hey,
waist.
we should have her on the show and ask her.
Yeah, if anyone
I mean,
knows Lady Gaga or her agent, get her on the show, we can ask her.
I'm going to need
Our
a business
friends at
email.
Impulsive Podcast, please send her contact information over.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so
Okay,
topic
back to what
discussed.
Amr was
Yes,
saying.
Armors, continue.
All right, so this guy, he downloaded an email that was sent by one of these North Korean hackers, and the email downloaded some malicious software that allowed them to get into the bank's like credentials and stuff like that, and allowed them to hack into the system. And so the way Swift works is it sends, so you have like credentials that you use to log into Swift, and both banks have Swift, right? So they're both secure by that regard. But in terms of actually sending the money, it's the money itself is not secured. It's just the requests and transfers that are secured. So when you request something and somebody else pays you, those are secured, encrypted, and locked, right? If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, makes
So
sense.
the money itself is not like monitored or checked for malicious activity.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyways, so the people don't get wary of this. You know, they're like, oh, it's completely safe. There's nothing wrong until they get into the actual bank's credentials. So they got the bank's credentials and used them to log into Swift and create real money transfer orders from the Bangladesh bank accounts to their bank accounts. 35 transfer requests all over the world, totaling up to $951 million, was being sent from Swift, which is supposed to be super secure and legitimate. So these seemed legitimate at the time to everybody, including the Bangladesh bank, until they realized the total amount was 951 million.
It's kind of. Have
It's
you
getting
guys seen
hefty.
Office Space?
Yes, we have seen Office
Yeah.
Space.
Yeah. This never mind.
What,
I don't
where
want to
are
get
you
in.
going
I
with
don't want to get
this?
into all this, but just it blows my mind how people can just take advantage and just come up with all this stuff and find those loopholes and make
Why
millions of
can't I do
dollars.
that?
Yeah, like where, how do I get into this?
Well, I mean, you're about 99% sure to get caught, so I would not recommend
Well, I mean, think of all
going
the
down
people
that
that have
route.
done it and never got caught. We don't know about them.
I mean,
Probably didn't talk about it on Twitch though.
Yeah,
yeah,
if I were to steal like $1 million, I would not boast about it.
well, you're already.
Shh.
All right, Amr, go
Secret chat.
ahead.
Sorry,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead.
So, anyways, some of these orders were sent to New York, and at this time, this is all in the middle of when Bangladesh had that printer problem from earlier, right? They're still trying to get it up at this point, and they sent money to the Federal Reserve. New York was like, "What's going on? You know, what are these orders?"
Where's
And
all this cash going?
they contacted Bangladesh, and they returned some of the money. They returned $870 million back to them.
Jeez.
So what was left
Some.
was about, no, that's almost all of it. What was
Yeah,
left
yeah,
was
yeah,
about
yeah.
80 million. And these last couple transfers ended up in those bank accounts for in the Philippines. And
Okay.
this was for a company called the Shalika Foundation.
What does the Shalika Foundation do?
Shalika Foundation is a fake organization. It's not really
It's like
Okay,
a
okay.
front.
I see where this is going.
yeah, so I mean until then they had $500 inside untouched for 9 months until a sudden cash infusion of $81 million. So they had been planning this, whoever did it, they think it's North Korea, but whoever did it had these 4 bank accounts set up 9 months in advance and waited until the perfect time. So this $81 million was able to slide under the radar. For some reason, it didn't trigger alerts. It was quickly withdrawn and laundered through the casinos, and they could not get the money back. And the way that they did this was the stop. They have like stop orders, right? You stop a transfer if you don't want something to go through. You but the Bangladesh bank issued stop orders to all 35 of those transfers, including those 4 that went through.
Okay.
But it was not received by the RCBC Bank on the expected Monday because that Monday was the Chinese New Year. It's a non-working holiday in the Philippines. So
As the
okay, so
Chinese New Year.
let me go back and kind of sum this up. So on Thursday evening they entered the system. At the start of the weekend when the Bangladesh bank is closing, on Friday the Bangladesh bank closes because it's a Muslim country, right? So they
Right.
close on Fridays. So on Friday, the New York Federal Reserve tries to clarify the request of Bangladesh, but no one's there. On Sunday, the Bangladesh staff return from the weekend, but can't get through to New York as it's now the weekend in the U.S. On Monday, the Federal Reserve finally gets the orders to stop the transfers, but not the Philippines because it just so happened to be Chinese New Year's there. And only on Tuesday, 5 days after the heist, the RCBC find out about the fraudulent transfers. But by then, it was already too late. They took the money out, they laundered it through the casinos, and they made away with it.
Dang.
And so then they were investigating who could have been responsible, and these 2 Chinese men named Ding and Gao
Nice.
were eventually were eventually found to be responsible for setting up the fake accounts in the Philippines, but they turned out just to be middlemen. But they were still, crucial to the whole operation.
Yeah, if I were like a if I could get like $1 million to be a middleman, I'd do it. Even though like they don't have much to do with the whole scheme, anyways.
Hmm.
Be like a side man, just
Yeah.
funneling, get a little bit of the cut.
Like if I'll be like a puppet king if like give me some Bessie and some big tits, like I'll be a puppet king.
So
Okay.
so
All right.
anyways, eventually the cybersecurity experts. So these guys that took the 81 million, they got away, right? They don't know where they went to exactly. They don't know where the money went. It was laundered successfully. We don't really know what happened. But the cybersecurity experts analyzed the malware that was used to hack into that guy's computer in the Bangladesh bank, and they found North Korean or Korean, not North Korean, sorry, it's the same or essentially the same. They found
I actually
Korean
saw where
writing.
it's like 2 different languages almost.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know, honestly. But anyways, they found Korean on the in the code and an IP address connecting to North Korea. So it was likely that North Korea was responsible behind this and had a huge hand in this, potentially being the sole culprit. But it is also possible that they were framed as, we don't know how much capability North Korea has, if they have the capability to run some operation like this with 9 months of planning. We don't know what they're doing. They also have
Well,
tons of
isn't
people. What were you
isn't
saying?
Corona really bad there right now?
I mean,
It's suspected to be,
I
but they're
mean,
not going
like,
to release any information.
yeah. I
Dude,
mean,
they
this.
already need money like crazy.
I was about
Yeah.
to say this money could have been used to save Kim Jong Un. I
Is
mean,
he
we don't know if he's
alive?
dead. We don't know. It's
Come on.
very suspect.
Also, like, is he running this operation now? If he's dead, like, I don't know. Like he'd take credit for it.
I don't know. They want to
And
keep everything quiet around there.
so this
Hush,
isn't
hush.
the only example of North Korea using, you know,
Private
kind of
accounts.
not private accounts, but
Well,
kind of
yeah,
subversive under the radar tactics.
yeah.
They often have people that are sent abroad to work in these camps. Like they send people up to Siberia, and you have to leave your kid and your wife back at home. You have to have a kid. If you
Jeez.
don't have a kid, you can't go because then they can't threaten you.
Okay.
So you leave them back there and you go to Siberia and you get paid for it a little bit, but the
Just a
North
little bit.
Korean state takes the vast majority of it. And they have
Okay.
these people all over the world working undocumented as basically slave labor to get a little bit of money so the Kim family can party.
Saw that in
But
a
Hell
documentary.
yeah.
yeah,
Some
and it's
Russian guy on YouTube.
mhm.
But dudes he was talking to, they had come back from working. Some of them had worked for like 2 years, and they made like I think like $3,000.
Jesus Christ.
That's
And there he
nothing.
was asking them, "Is like, is that a lot like for Korea?" And he was like, "It's more than what I would get in Korea, but it's still not like considered a lot."
Well, how much does the average North Korean citizen make like a year?
I don't know,
Probably
probably
not
not
much at
much.
Like
all.
$10
Well,
at
you
least?
heard what that guy said. He was there for 2 years, made $3,500. He said it was more, but it still wasn't considered a lot.
Eh.
I guess when you have a lot of money, you have like 5K. I don't know.
Yeah, you considered rich in North Korea with 5K?
I actually saw too where they had like a secret rich class. Like all the diplomats were like, there's like these people that have been like, they'll like something, this super rich class of people.
Hmm?
Something like a super rich class of North Korean people that have been like importing, like, been tracking like imports on North Korea. And there's been like big
Yeah, I saw that.
exotic cars and like, can't see like jewelry, like diamonds and like important ivory and all kinds of shit.
So this source right here that I'm looking at says the average income per person per year is only $1,300
Jesus. For a
Yeah, so
year?
he'd
per
make
year.
2,600 while he was working years.
How much does the
3,500 was like more.
how much does the like how do they survive on that? Does the government like give out free shit?
Government doesn't give them jack
Yeah,
shit.
they take.
Uh,
They take lives.
they
I got to
take.
go watch that video. I'm gonna go find it.
Yeah, I hope North Korea doesn't come barging down my door right now for talking shit.
I mean, I don't get how they're so low income yet they boast about all this stuff.
They're very
Like
eco-friendly.
they're pumping that money into the
In this
military.
video, they show a news um source from North Korea, and they were talking about how like George Bush was gonna like say he was sorry for what he had said about North Korea and was gonna give them food, something. The dude in this video was talking about how like the people in North Korea are like 40 years behind.
Oh yeah,
Like
I believe it.
people they talk about and the celebrities like they want to see shit are like from 40 years ago.
Really?
Oh my God.
Yeah, like
That's
they're
So
like
weird.
they still want
it's
to see
like
like
they're
President Nixon.
American music is like 80s type shit.
Oh, so they're like living in the 80s right now. They're like, dang, this like what's a
Yeah,
popular
shit like
80s
that.
band?
I can't wait to see the new Indiana Jones
Yeah,
movie.
the new Indiana Jones, the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Have you guys seen it?
Oh my
maybe
god.
maybe we can go to the cinemas and catch it this next weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, man, they're basically stuck in the 50s.
Yeah. How are they? Have you seen those videos of there's traffic? There's like people there that get up at like 4 a.m. and go direct traffic in like the capital of North Korea, and there's like nobody out on the street.
What the
So they're
fuck?
basically just like directing nobody. They're like, okay, this lane can go, this one stops, but like no one's there. But they just have to keep doing it all day.
On like a work schedule. So
Yeah.
the only time people are in the streets is for like their scheduled time that they're not working.
Yeah, so if they don't do it, dead.
You know, there's when it snows, when it gets really icy on the roads, everybody's responsible for their patch of road to clear the ice because they don't have anything to clear the ice with, so they can't just shut down the roads.
Dang.
Everybody has to clean their own patch of street.
You know those motherfuckers get out there first sunlight and scrape that shit up too, every fucking
Yeah,
bit of
yeah.
it.
People will go out there and
So
like
disciplined.
there'll be people on the streets just shoveling the streets.
I wish I
Would
had the
not be me.
work ethic of a North Korean.
Spit it out. Spit
I'm
it out.
trying. I'm trying.
No,
I mean,
that's
shit.
crazy, honestly.
I mean, they really truly are brainwashed.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Imagine.
sure.
I mean, there's a
Have you
lot of
seen like
people out there like that.
people that do escape and go to South Korea? The North Koreans that escape, they're like bullied by the South Koreans.
Yeah, word.
Yeah. So
I
even when
mean,
they
that's just
escape, they're like,
They're
harsh.
ruthless over there, man.
yeah. America.
I want to meet a North Korean though. That'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah, we should get one on the
Just-
podcast.
Just
In
to
that
hear the
video,
story.
in that video I linked, he
Huh.
I need
I'll
to watch that.
Yeah, I'll check that out after we finish up the podcast.
It's like a few parts.
Yeah, if you want to see North Korea in the way it is, truly, watch the interview.
I'll link it in the chat.
Yeah.
I post it on the Twitch. I'll have my
There we go.
Okay.
All right.
Should we move on to
So-
the next topic, or are you good, Omer?
Uh,
Or did
Yeah.
okay, cool.
But going right back to you real quick, Amr. I feel like there's a high probability it could have.
I think
Yeah,
it
me-
is. I mean, the IP tracked back to them.
All
Yeah.
their stuff, they could have just gotten a bunch of tech.
I mean, they're never gonna admit it, but we just have to assume it was, even though it's not right to assume.
All right, so
Agree to disagree.
Flip, are you next?
Yeah, I'll go next. Okay. For my topic today, I chose kind of trick or treating, and we all kind of just take it for granted. We're gonna go trick or treat on Halloween. Go get free candy from strangers. But like, do you know why we do it or where it even came from? Because obviously, when we were born, we weren't just like, hey, October 31st, let's go trick or treat, right?
Yeah, I mean, we were told.
Yeah, we were told to do it, but
Didn't-
like, why? Why were we told to do it?
I
Didn't
mean,
it come
I
from
don't.
like Europe?
Yeah, wasn't it? I
Hmm?
don't know what country it was from, but I feel like somewhere
a
in Europe
weird one.
invented it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's no one knows exactly where it came from, but a lot of kind of the factors that contributed into trick or treating, like I guess I'll go ahead and get into it. It kind of even dates back to ancient Greece. So
Ancient Greece.
kind
Wow.
of
Hmm.
like a tradition in ancient Greece, on the island of Rhodes, kids, it was like a custom to go door to door singing a song in exchange for like a treat, or like they like egg their property or like cause mischief or some shit.
Oh, we should do it.
Yeah. So even back in ancient Greece, kids were still just like extorting adults for treats.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it does. Also
And I'm-
origins. I think we've all kind of heard about this, but it dates back to the Celtic like pagan festivals.
I have heard
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, a lot of it dates back to that, where between like October 31st and November 1st, right before about like when winter started. They would say is like when winter is like the darkest part of the year. So they'd have this big festival where everyone kind of like has fun, gets drunk, and dresses up because in that time period, uh, between during their festivals, it's supposedly it's when the veil between life and death is the thinnest. So if you kind of dress up in a costume, like a fairy or like a soul or a spirit or something, then death or like the spirits will kind of leave you alone, you know. So that's why kind of people dressed up during that time
Mm,
period.
Kind of.
Yeah. So
Huh. Well, I mean, it's kind of the same as today. People want to hide who they are on this date of October 31st and kind of be someone else, you know?
yeah, yeah. So like I said, it was they would dress up, kind of have fun because it doesn't date back to one specific festival. It was like a multiple festivals, multiple fake pagan festivals, and people would dress up and hope in hopes that they would be kind of left alone by the spirits and everything. Um, and some people would leave food or drinks out for the spirits in hopes that they would be left alone as well. And it also dates back. There's something called soul cakes. So this has to do with Christianity, but
Mm.
in the 15th century, people would go singing, like they go to people's windows and start singing for like people's lost loved ones or something like that. Kind of like sing, pray for their souls, sort of like we do, in exchange for like a soul cake, which a soul cake looks kind of like a muffin. Looks pretty good
I was about
actually.
to say, I'm looking at a soul cake right now.
Yeah,
It looks pretty good. Cinnamon, nutmeg,
yeah.
sugar,
sounds
butter.
pretty good. I would eat
So
it.
for
Yeah, and
exchange for like a song, I'd so sing.
it looks kind of like a sugar cookie, maybe with a little
You got about
hit of
4
spice.
houses,
Yeah,
chilling.
yeah. You got that's you could honestly you could hibernate with you go to if you know how many houses do you guys go to normally when you were little and you trick or treated?
That's shit like I
A
don't
Bruh,
know,
A
shit ton,
lot.
a shit ton. Yeah.
15, 20.
Dylan, you know
What?
our neighborhood.
many. And I swear, bro, I probably went to like 60
Yeah.
60 houses?
at
Matt, you
least.
know Bedford? Like,
Yeah,
it's
I know,
not
I
I
that.
got,
know, I
yeah.
know.
I went to a lot too.
I used to have to take 2 pillowcases with me. I would fill them
Jeez,
both up.
2 pillowcases?
Yeah.
Oh my God, were you running
A lot
house to
of
house?
see, we used to go out early too, because the people that put the buckets out and say take one, we would just go around and dump all those in the bags early. Learned after a
Uh,
couple years that if we got there late, they were all gone. So
Yeah.
we were like old enough to go just us and like without my parents, and we just would go early and steal all that shit.
Oh,
Then go
yeah, we
grub
went
on
to s
candy until it got dark and the actual houses.
so you were like a thief. You were like a crook.
Yeah, they used to have a
You were
haunted
the
house in our
Halloween.
neighborhood too.
the Halloween
Dude,
heist.
that was really good. That haunted house.
Yeah, we used to that used to take up like 2 hours of every night.
Was it an actual
Everybody used to
house?
go.
Yeah,
Yeah, like some old guy and his whole family like
it was
would
so
just set
cool.
it up in their backyard, and he had like a fenced in backyard, so you go in on one side and it like a big
Like a
loopy
tunnel.
maze, and it comes out on the other side.
That's
It's
kind of
so
dope.
cool.
Oh,
Dang.
Yeah, when we were younger, dude, that was the shit. But he stopped doing it.
Oh,
I was
Yeah,
missing
I
it's
remember
out.
cool.
everybody used to go out there.
would it be actually like kind of scary?
Dude, people from out
Yeah,
of the neighborhood
Oh,
would
I
come
guess
and
at the
go to
time.
it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember going to
was
y'all's neighborhood once or twice for Halloween.
so
I,
your neighborhood was like the go-to. Like
oh
if you
yeah,
lived on like a
It's
dirt
really
road with
good.
no neighbors, you'd go to that neighborhood.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like me. I mean,
If
I
you
don't
like
really.
lived in an apartment complex or some shit.
Okay.
If you
All right.
try it
Tucker
now, if
and
you can pass for like 12.
Valley are probably pretty.
All right,
Hmm.
so moving on with my topic. So that was kind of like the background of. So we got all the factors, right? We have the dressing up. We have the leaving, getting treats. We have tricking people, causing mischief. We have all like we have everything, but we don't have the trick or treating. So the traditions carry over to America. Um, people are still kind of in different parts of America. There's reports of people. It's called souling, where they just kind of dress up, have maybe a festival, get kind of drunk, maybe get a few treats. There's some. If you look up some postcards, there's like postcards of children dressing up but not actually trick or treating. So like there were kids dressing up but not going house to house and doing all that. So it was all kind of morphing together, but it wasn't there just yet.
Right.
So really trick or treating kind of really kicks off after World War II because all this there's you couldn't really go trick or treating in World War II because of sugar rationing and everything.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really when like the media got a hold of it, that's when it really kind of blew up. So like Peanuts comic strip depicted the like all those kids in this the cartoons dressing up, going trick or treating. There was like special Halloween episodes that appeared on TV. Companies, even like 10 months before Halloween, were grasping onto it, and they would produce these masks, like really cheap masks that you could go buy and be your favorite character. Because like if you're a kid and you want to be, I don't know, what's a character?
Uh,
Rapunzel?
Cowboy.
A
I don't
cowboy,
know.
yeah. You want to be a cowboy.
Rapunzel.
You say
I
Rapunzel?
watched Tangled last night, alright?
I was like, how the fuck is that the first character that came to your mind?
I
Anyway,
don't know. I
okay, a
mean,
cowboy
literally,
works better. Yeah, if you want to be like a cowboy, you could
or
go.
Or
even like a
Rapunzel.
soldier right after
Yeah,
World War II. I
yeah,
mean,
go get your toy
some of these
gun.
soldiers
Yeah.
were the heroes.
So they could produce all these masks, thousands of them, for like really cheap. You could go out and buy it because like nowadays it's pretty easy just to go get a costume, but like back then, think about it, like how it. I'm guessing it would
You'd,
have been a lot
you'd have to
harder.
get your mom to make you a costume for
Yeah,
like months ahead of the time.
yeah, I know a lot of stories of people kind of talking about their moms or them having to make their own costume rather than going out and
Yeah.
going to Halloween Town and buying it.
I mean, it's these corporations eat up Halloween. Like
Yeah,
Costumes are fucking
exactly.
you can make any snack, any candy, any snack into like a Halloween themed
Yeah,
treat.
exactly. Because this we're gonna say other corporate like M&M or I guess whoever owns it, Mars. I don't know. They got in on it. They started producing like candy for Halloween. And this is kind of what sealed the deal for trick or treating. Disney, very widely known in the 50s, still widely known today. Uh, they released an episode called Trick or Treat. So literally trick or treat. So by then it was like everyone knew the tradition of going around getting candy. Um, and yeah, so pretty much. And then
Pretty
there's
cool.
also in the in the word trick or treat. I've talked a lot about people just getting the treat, but I haven't really talked about the trick. There are a lot of reports of. There's a lot of different names for it, but I think Devil's Night is kind of widely known, more commonly known. It's Devil's Night is it was really before trick or treating was kind of a thing, but in Detroit, like in Detroit, there was like over 800 cases of arson on October 31st. So kids would like just go out and
Jeez.
just go burn shit. And so like adults would be like, well, if you're an adult and you don't want some kid to come like burn your house or like cause mischief or whatever, what would you do? You'd like leave them a treat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if you would like,
You
okay,
blackmail them into giving
yeah.
you candy.
So like children have been extorting adults for a very long time. So, yeah, so there's like it's also called Cabbage Night. I think in like Massachusetts or Ohio calls it something else. But yeah, so parents, so like if you invited a kid into your house, you give them pop for apples, maybe give them a beer. I guess not a beer, but like if you gave
A
him some candy,
juice.
yeah, like a juice. Maybe he
Juice
won't egg your
box.
house or fork your house or something.
I mean, you
Yeah.
gotta satisfy the
Yeah.
kids. But a little off topic, but going back to what you were saying about Disney earlier. Did you know that Disney is losing $30 million a day right now because of
Wait, why?
coronavirus?
Wait, like
Because like the theme parks are shut down, like
that's
they're
what I'm.
not making any revenue off except
Yeah.
off of like I mean like its TV and cable networks are
It's not that
struggling,
much.
I mean,
but
boo-hoo.
like it's
Disney's worth so much.
I mean,
Are
Disney
they
Plus is
actually
popping.
losing 30 million from their accounts, or are they just making 30 million less?
See, that's not. I'm not sure about that because I mean, like, ESPN is owned by Walt Disney Corporation, and they have nothing to show. No sports, nothing. I mean, they have like
Yeah,
daily like reruns and whatnot, but
their
and like
stock gone down like hella.
yeah, it's at like a 52-week low right now.
Well,
It's rough, but anyways, continue.
I don't know. I just kind of wanted to discuss this is kind of my last thing on my topic to discuss, but the kind of like the anxieties and the fears of because I feel like trick or treating is kind of dying out nowadays. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah,
I mean, I would definitely say
I can
so.
agree with that.
Dylan, what do you think?
Feel like the feel like the age in which kids get tired of trick or treating keeps them lower.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
when did you guys stop trick or treating?
I'd
Honestly,
say
I did it
like
all through high school because we used to just walk around.
I was about to say. I mean, I stopped when I was like
Probably stopped
maybe like
shit.
12 or 13. Like I'd rather stay home and
I
just
stopped like 7th or 8th grade, I think.
Dang, I stopped when I was like 15.
Yeah, I mean, it's like being in the house when everybody's outside. I just couldn't do it, so we just used to go.
well, I mean, like my neighborhood, there's no one in my neighborhood that trick or
Yeah,
treats. Like we had
exactly.
Yeah.
like this year we had 0 trick or treaters come to our house.
Bet.
Really?
Yeah, 0.
Well, who would come to your
So
house?
funny.
It's like nothing
I
out
mean,
there but
I mean,
fields.
there's like
Few kids
two.
out there though.
There's two neighborhoods, but
I mean, that just
like,
seems like I'd definitely
The
just go somewhere
wilderness
else.
knocks on your door.
but like, I don't know. Halloween is good for the little kids, and then like the college kids. Like Halloween is a huge deal on all college campuses, and
Oh yeah, Halloween for me, it's gone from being, first it was my parents would kind of go with me, teach me the rules of Halloween, like, hey, this person's lights are off, that means they don't want to participate, and go up, tell them who you are, get candy, and then it went from me and my friends, we go around the neighborhood, and we get candy and get and all that, and then it was like maybe I'm too old for it. What do I do now? So now I just, party on Halloween.
yeah, I mean, now instead of dressing up as your favorite character, people are dressing up as their favorite character in college, but making it more risque, so to speak,
Yeah,
and
maybe a little sluttier.
Slutty
Feel like
everything.
sluttier for the women, and then a little more rough for the men, and
Yeah.
kind of like people lean to like
kinda
people
like
dressing
Peaky
up as
Blinders style.
yeah, like me and Dylan dressed up as the Peaky Blinders,
Yeah, I did
very.
like that. That was funny.
And then like, but then there's like the people on like college campuses that are dressing up as like White Claws and like beers, and like there some girl at ECU is dressed up as like a jewel or something,
Yeah.
very very suggestive costumes, and instead of candy, you're going to the PJ, getting you a cup of PJ. Maybe
Feel like
bring in your treat is bringing a bottle of liquor to the party.
for the younger kids though, I feel like it's more for the parents now than anything.
You think?
Yeah.
To
Well,
dress your kids up, have the pictures for
Yeah.
when you're older, and when you're
Yeah.
a grandma, you can look through your little thing.
yeah. And a lot of parents like I remember one year. Like, do you guys remember like if you were not allowed to trick or treat? Like, you'd remember that year, right? Because I remember one year I wasn't allowed to trick or treat, and so I had to go to like something called trunk or treat. You guys heard of that, right?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
know
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Fuck that.
I had to go to a trunk or treat. It
Yeah.
was
It's
awful.
so bad. It's like not the same thing at all. It's like, yeah, I get to play these games in exchange for candy, but it's like it's not the same thing as going off on your own and maybe risking
Yeah.
a razor blade and an apple, which never even happens. Which I also wanted to talk about
Yeah,
too.
that never
Oh,
happens. Like,
we have someone in the chat that said Halloween, or as I call it, All Sluts Eve is my favorite time of the year. Thank you for your comment, Mayor of
Albuquerque, maybe
Totally
Albuquerque.
Albuquerque. Thank
Oh,
you.
we got the mayor of wow. We got a mayor.
the
Wow,
mayor. We got
Mayor,
the
thank
going
mayor.
up
you.
in the
Wow.
world.
I don't know who you are, but thank you, Mayor,
He's
for
the
your
mayor,
comment.
the mayor
I
of a
will be
whole
voting
city
for you.
or whatever. Yes, you have my vote. But yeah, I was looking to talk about kind of the anxieties of Halloween. It's like it seems like it was like reverse engineered almost. Like you hear about, hey, this check your kids' candy for razor blades, but like that was always like the fears, and then there was those urban legends that turned out to be true. Like there was reports of this like guy in Texas like put cyanide in his kid's pixie stick, and then yeah,
Jesus.
and then
What the
he
fuck?
took out like a insurance policy on them so that like his kid would eat it, and then he get a bunch of money after the kid died, and he just like
He'd die and he'd get like
yeah
100
yeah like
or
Did he
something.
get away
100K.
with it? What happened?
If he got
Do you
away with it,
remember?
we probably wouldn't have
Nah,
heard about it.
nah,
I
we
think
heard. Well, no, like
Yeah.
he like yeah, obviously he didn't get away with it. But then there's also this other
that usually doesn't work out for people, that insurance fraud type
yeah.
shit.
So he tried. They're just using Halloween as an like as their I guess they're blaming it on the Halloween, and like this other report of, people giving out drugs or something. Like there's this guy in California, like a dentist, I think, that put instead of candy, he just gave out laxatives. So it was a bunch of little kids just like taking massive shits. I
Jeez.
mean,
See,
I guess it's pretty harmless.
I feel like
Have you
that's what
seen those?
I feel like that's what people like to do now, though, is like blamed Halloween for that instead of the guy who just took advantage of Halloween.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not really Halloween's fault because 99.9% of people aren't doing that, and then
Exactly.
just him and maybe one other person did that, then I don't know.
Yeah, it's like that
Have
Like,
you?
happens and then it makes
just
the
use that as
headlines.
their opportunity.
Yeah, like it happens and then it makes this huge headline and then now everyone sees it and they're like, "Oh my god, that could happen in my neighborhood even though it doesn't happen
Why didn't he put
99.999% of the time."
cyanide in his kids' cookies on fucking Christmas morning?
So he's-
Then
I
they
think he
blame it on
wanted to blame
Christmas.
somebody. Maybe
yeah.
he wanted to blame somebody that
Yeah, he
gave
was
it to him.
gonna he put it in his kid's pixie stick because he wanted to blame some crazy person in the
Oh yeah, I
neighborhood.
see
He
what you
probably
Yeah,
had like the box of pixie sticks in
yeah,
his pantry.
yeah.
mean.
They're like, dude,
Well, cyanide in the trash.
they're like, dude, come on, you
Yeah.
gotta be better than this.
He's like, what? It's not mine.
And there's also this report of these kids ate they're like uncles, or not uncle, but I don't know who it was, but like these kids ate someone in their family's stash of drugs. I guess overdosed and
Mhm.
died, and so he's like, "Oh my god, what do I do? I'm gonna go to jail for this." So he basically blames it on Halloween. Like, so he said it was like in the candy. So that made headlines, and then everyone's like, "Oh my god, people are giving out drugs."
Yeah, going back to that, like every year we see our local news networks putting out like cautions for people handing out edibles. Who would hand out
Hell, bro.
an edible to a
Yeah.
kid?
I
Like,
wouldn't give my edibles to
Hell
nobody.
no.
I was about to say, like,
Yeah,
do
hell
you think
no.
somebody just has like tons and tons of like THC gummies to just be handing out the kids?
It's
No,
expensive.
they're gonna they're gonna be giving those out at parties or selling them at
Yeah.
I don't
parties.
know,
They're
man.
not
I
gonna
could
be
see some people doing that.
to be just handing them out to kids.
Yeah.
Really?
Nah,
I
I
don't
Some
don't
people are
know.
know.
crazy.
Point of that though.
If you go to like, dude, if you go to like California or something, you find like some.
Well, I mean that, but like a small town, North
Yeah, no, I
Carolina,
don't think. No,
like
no, no. Of course not. But
Yeah.
like,
Maybe some
you
crazy
go certain
psychopath who's
places.
bored
Yeah,
in
some people
yeah,
quarantine.
just.
but like the point is like I think a year or two ago, I think maybe last year, the local police found a guy that had like a huge bag of edibles, and they they just automatically assumed that he would be giving them out to little kids.
Yeah, but
Like,
why would like if I was like a parent and my son or daughter brought back a brownie like wrapped in plastic wrap, would be like, no, do not eat that.
yeah,
Like obviously I'd
Or
be
would
like,
eat it.
keep the Smarties and the Snickers, but don't eat the homemade candy.
or the
I wouldn't bring a brownie back. I'd eat that bitch right on the
Yeah, I'd be
spot.
like, yeah, son, let me smell that. Like, oh, okay, I'll keep that.
Hey, have you guys seen those videos of people giving laxatives to seagulls
No,
yes,
what?
on the
I've seen
beach?
that.
What?
I've
People
seen
get,
that.
people get shit on left and right.
I saw
The
That's
that.
so
funniest thing.
annoying. That's like,
It's so mean.
Mm, well, uh, Are you about ready to move on to Dylan's topic?
Yeah, Dylan, do you want to go and go?
On topic of the night.
Yeah, the
The last topic.
Okay,
Best
so
for last.
the topic I have brought today is a little bit criminal justice related here, but
Okay.
more so for your personal pleasure. There's a movie about this. It is called the Poughkeepsie Tapes. It's on Amazon Prime. Gonna go ahead and plug that
Oh.
first.
All right.
The individual we will be discussing is alias is Edward Carver, also known as the Water Street Butcher. Have any of you ever heard of him?
I have
I don't
from
think I have.
you
What was his
only.
name?
Edward Carver, but I'm a
I
little
think I've heard of
confused
it.
on that. I don't know if that's his name, they know for sure, or if it's
That
his.
that's his alias. They don't know his name.
Okay. Well, the reason I'll get into that later, but basically, on the film, which is I watched the film first, and then I did a little bit of research on him. So this guy basically was in Poughkeepsie, New York, and was kidnapping people, torturing them, killing them, and he filmed it all with a handheld camera. So
Okay.
he actually filmed himself kidnapping people so that whenever the police ended up finding all his stuff, they could watch it because he wanted them to actually see it.
So he's a crazy narcissist.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
But he's
So
like creepy too. Like he
Yeah.
does like little
oh yeah,
dances and stuff.
it's like he was. So what he did when he would kidnap people is basically like really scare them. So what he always wore. Have you guys seen those like old like Italian plays with like the mask that has like a
Mhm.
beak looking thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about?
Yeah.
He wore a mask like that and just all black clothes.
Like an opera mask
Yeah,
kinda.
yeah, basically an opera. And so he made him so interesting to me was that they never found him.
Oh, they haven't found this guy?
Yeah, he's
Oh.
still out there.
This
That's
happened
wild.
late 90s, early 2000s, and they never found him. The only thing they found was after his last document murder, is they ended up finding his house. He had sent like a letter. But what he did, he sent a letter to the police and said that they missed a body because they had found a bunch of bodies.
Yeah.
He said he told them that they missed a body basically.
And he
He said,
probably wants
So
"Hey,
his
you
work
they
missed
got
one."
a
right
got
for
like
that.
got some kind of thing off that and tracked it back to his house, and he was like long gone, and they found like over I think it was like 2.5 days worth of video recording,
Jeez.
like 48
Jesus.
like 50 hours of recordings.
Wonder
They
what
couldn't
happened to
find
him.
this guy because he has no motive. He doesn't kill a certain type of person. Like sometimes you'll see serial killers only kidnap like young blonde girls
Yeah.
or like just children or like only take advantage of old people because they're easy to take advantage of.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This guy, his first victim was a child. Second victim was a married couple. His third victim was some like 19-year-old girl and her boyfriend. And then it was just like was anybody it was like he was just walking around doing his daily life and he would just see someone and think I want to kill them.
Jeez, how fucked up do you have to be to think that?
Exactly. It's
Wow.
fucking crazy.
Wait, so
Yeah.
how would they
Watched this movie with my parents and we had to like stop watching it.
wow. How would the police how would the police find the videotapes and everything? Would he just like mail them to him?
So what happened was he had kidnapped he had kidnapped a little girl from her front yard. And then he killed her. They like found her body. Then he kidnapped the couple and they found their body. And then in the movie, the next murder that's filmed is or the kidnapping is a girl named Cheryl Dempsey, and she was home from college for the weekend and staying in her parents' house by herself. So she was 19, so she had her boyfriend stay over, and they were like drinking a little bit and smoking and shit. And they fell asleep on the couch. And so he was in the house from the time she was in the shower. Her boyfriend came to the house. They went downstairs, watched a whole movie, and fell asleep. And he was just sitting in the house the whole time.
Ugh, that's so
Oh my
Damn.
creepy.
god.
What?
Yeah, just sitting there, like waiting for them to like get relaxed.
Did he get off to this? Like, what?
I have no idea. Didn't show
Like,
anything
Probably.
like that.
how many people did he
Yeah,
murder? Like,
what's his body count?
wasn't it over like a
He,
1,000 or something like
he
that? It was a lot of people, right?
movie it's kind of skeptical because there's like only proof of him committing 60 murders,
Uh-huh.
Still, that's a
but
lot.
they expect that over 3,600 people throughout the Northeast.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
What?
That's a lot of people.
That's
Like,
a
how
lot
did
Oh
to
that
get
my
just
away
go
with.
god.
unnoticed?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like that really makes you think. That really
That's
makes you kind
that's
of
on
worry.
one site.
I
The
mean, in this,
movie in the movie there is 60 people, around 60 people though, that are confirmed by him.
I mean, man, this makes you worry about our law enforcement. Like, this guy can get away with killing 3,600 people.
Yeah. There must be so many unsolved cases.
Crazy. No, but with this Cheryl Dempsey girl, she was the only survivor of his like of him. Kidnapped her, and like wherever he filmed, it looked like some kind of like split type basement deal where he kept these people.
Mm-hmm.
And he kept her as his like slave, and in the videos that's like what he like made her call herself and everything. And he ended up making her kill multiple.
Wait, say it again.
He ended up making her kill like multiple people he had kidnapped.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, he made her. Oh,
Yeah, he
what?
was like psychologically like trying to just destroy her. So
Wow.
Jesus.
she like and she so he she like was in there for 8 years and had to kill like a few people. Like literally, he made her slit people's throats. This is no joke.
Oh my god, man.
So he ended up they started like catching on to these murders that he was doing because obviously they're like people know that these people are getting missing. So they've been had a profile on this guy for a while. So he knows that they're starting to catch on to him kind of. So what he does is at one of his murder scenes, he doesn't take them back to his little dungeon thing. He like kills them and leaves them in the house and sets up a crime scene
What do you mean sets up a crime
with
scene?
DNA from a local sheriff's deputy.
Oh,
Oh my
what?
god.
Into a sheriff deputy's house,
This is
into
high
like
IQ.
his mustache comb, got a bunch of hairs, like a bunch of shit, like some and like all this stuff, and like put his fingerprints on this little piece of paper and like stuck it all around, like stuck all this stuff around the crime scene. And so he was tried for all of the murders basically,
Really?
and that murder specifically. Got the death sentence.
Was he
He
killed?
was executed
Oh,
September 9th, 2001, 3 days before 9/11.
gee. This
And
is.
on 9/11, this guy had the literally like the best plan in the history of ever. On 9/11, he sent a letter to the police and said, "You missed one," and said you executed the wrong guy.
Holy shit.
This is like some
So then,
Hannibal slash Dexter
Yeah,
stuff.
that is some Hannibal stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
then
Wow.
found the address to his house where his little basement was, and they went there, found the 2 days something hours of tapes, and found Cheryl Dempsey in the basement. Like she only had one arm, and she was like beaten and all this shit, and the only
Ugh.
word she knew how to say was slave.
What?
Oh my
Oh, that's
god.
like Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Hodor.
Reek.
it's
Uh,
just like that
Hodor.
shit.
Yeah.
It's basically what he
Heard
did.
of it too, yeah.
my name's
And
Reek. I'm Reek.
My name's Reek.
he disappeared, and they've just still been investigating it.
That's
What
wild,
kind of
man.
clues do we have of who he is? Like, do we know anything at all?
He was reported to be at the time of his murders between 20 and 80 years old. I mean, 20.
20 to 80.
That's a
That's our
long.
population.
I read 1980 on this page and it made me say 80. 20 and 30 years old. But they have
Yeah.
no idea what he looks like because he was always wearing that mask.
What was the
So he
mask
could
again?
be
Oh,
anyone.
the Italian. Yeah.
But I will link this in the Discord for you guys so you
All
can
right,
look at.
so Philip and Amr, we need to find DB Cooper and we need to find Edward Carver.
Wait, that's
So we
him?
gotta get to work.
Wait, dang, that's creepy.
Scroll all the way down to the bottom. You'll
Yeah.
see some video. There's a
Oh,
video in
those
the bottom
videos are.
right. Yeah, they're
Ugh,
very graphic.
that
The
is very
picture,
graphic.
there's a picture in there of him with Cheryl, and he has her like, in makeup and shit, and she is the legs of his side table. Like he has a top of a table around her neck.
Dude, oh, dude, this is
A
giving me
lamp.
chills. What the
It's like,
fuck?
yeah,
Look at that picture of her acting as a desk for him.
What?
one where he's walking behind the woman, his mask on too. What's crazy about this guy is like he filmed everything.
Yeah, like he has 3,600 tapes.
If
That
he
could be
put
pretty
this
big
kind
on
of like,
Twitch.
if he put this kind of passion into maybe like
Jesus.
Twitch streaming or YouTube, he could be big. But no, he's corrupt.
That's tough. Those videos are gruesome.
They're really freaking weird. They look like something out of Criminal Minds.
Jesus, dude.
There was one lady where the couple that he kidnaps, he killed the man. He cut his head off and he inserted it into her abdomen.
Oh.
Like moved her organs back and put it in her stomach, and she woke up and it was like. And they've
Dude, this
never
That
caught this.
guy's
that
This
that is
guy,
that is
this
some
guy's
Hannibal
still
stuff.
out there. This is the real life Hannibal.
This could be Matt. Matt could be out. Matt, this is you.
All right, so as of today, I am an alien and Edward Carver.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Do you
That's why
prefer
we
the Water
can't
Street
catch him.
Butcher or Edward Carver?
I don't know. I think Edward Carver's more formal.
Right.
The Water
You know,
Street
only
Butcher kind of gives me a little too much
It seems
fandom,
very
some
Hollywoody.
fame.
so you just
Yeah.
want to, call you like you call
Yeah,
your
I mean,
friends, you know.
yeah. Call me Edward. Like,
All right, Eddie.
call me Mr. Carver.
Mr. Carver.
Okay, well, we're pushing an hour 15, guys.
I mean,
That is fine. Fine.
it's been pretty good podcast this week. Very
I think
interesting.
this has been I think it's been very interesting. I hope our audience has enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thank you,
we
Dylan,
have
for
any-
coming on as a
Yeah.
guest.
Well, thank you for having me. I want to see if there's any audience comments though before we get off here. If anybody wants to say anything.
There have been some people commenting.
Air
in the-
responded.
Yeah,
Sorry?
he said it was a obscure Simpsons reference, but thanks for the vote. Let's make America high again. Thank you, Mayor. If
We
you're
can
still
all
in the
back
board with
chat.
that,
that.
Mayor. We can all back that. Philip Noob.
Get Hazy. Yeah, if you want to come, we are live every Wednesday. Don't say anything.
Every
We're
Wednesday
live
except
every
this
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll be live every
today
Wednesday.
we did it on Thursday.
Yeah, but you can come join the chat. Like Get Hazy said, he asked a question: does Lady Gaga have a penis? And we discussed it. So yeah, if you want to get involved, you can on twitch.tv/The Secret Chat Podcast. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcast, whatever platform. You guys
Follow
wanna-
us on Twitter as well for
right.
weekly announcements.
You guys want to plug anything?
I don't
No,
think so.
once again, want to thank Dylan
Yes,
for
thank you,
coming on
Dylan.
the chat today.
Thanks for having me. I hope to get on another episode
Oh yeah, it's a good
soon
episode.
sometime.
Yeah, that's true.
Enjoyed the
You're
guest star. Thank you guys for having me.
Yep.
Well, we'll see everyone next week back on the
Alright.
Secret Chat podcast.
See ya.
All right. See y'all.
Adios.